G'day folks, this is another Dodep cube. Now at this time, this doesn't have an official name. Its technical name is the 11112X. What am I talking about? Well, this has a mercury core, and so when I say 1-1, I mean 1-1 across an axis here, which means these two are one faces. And I also said 1-1, so then the orange and the red are also one faces. Then I said 2x. So in this case, the white face is a two face, which means these two layers turn together and that top layer will not separate from the second layer. And the X means the other face is completely blocked. So this yellow face will not turn. Now, I first did the mercury, which was 111121. In other words, that was a one face as well. And there'll be a video out on that already. I then tried to replace the two with a three face. In fact, I did replace the two with a three face, which meant that it turned like that, but also this top layer could also turn independently of this layer here. Well, that just made things easier. I then replaced the 3 with an S, which stands for slice. So that meant that only this second layer would turn. Now, it was basically, I can't demonstrate it now, perhaps something like, in fact, I can't even do it on this one because these don't have slices. So what it did was it didn't really change the solving difficulty at all, but it made it more annoying because it's just the size of these pieces for my hands. It's kind of not quite big enough to easily move a slice face. So I then decided I'm going to keep working through it. Let's change from the 1 to a 2 to a 3 to an S and now the X. And so I've got back to a two face here and I've got an X which blocks it. This is a very interesting variant. So it's good what just changing one face from the original mercury cube will do. So this yellow face now will not turn. So I'm going to take you through the relevant bits here. The first thing, I'll scramble it, and the only difference really, I can still do all of this sort of stuff. I would normally do a scramble like this and then just turn that and then keep going. I'd also be turning the yellow face, but obviously I can't turn that yellow face. All right, and we've got a pretty good scramble here. Now, the first stage of this solve is identical to mercury. Nothing really is different, and that is solving the centers. So I'll do that as I did before. And just coming into the last two faces here, I've got the orange central bit. I'll get the other orange edges onto here initially. And that'll just leave corners to deal with. And so for example, here I'm going to attach this to here by basically simple turns. I can then put this back down to here. And I can do the same sort of thing with these two. So this one, when I turn it up, it's going to push this one out, but I want this to come back to here. So I'm going to turn that up, rotate it that way, bring it back to make that triplet. And the final one, I've got the same sort of thing. The corner is at the top, which actually means I want the other one there because it's going to turn and replace like so. So it's made that last triplet, as I said, exactly the same as mercury. Now, reducing the edges here is the same sort of thing. When I did mercury, I deliberately tried to, so I got an edge. Let's just take one of them here to demonstrate. I grabbed an edge like this green-orange central part and this green-orange part here, and I turned it together and I replaced that with something over here or here. And then I moved this back and I took careful note of this green-white center as well. And I said I'd like to get a green-white to go here so that it automatically makes the second one. Now that is too problematic on this version because I can't, well, I was going to say I can't easily turn this yellow face. I can't turn it at all. And the other issue is I can't turn the white face once I've got my centers here. So what I ended up doing is basically going, okay, I've made a double. I'm just going to replace that with anything over here using just these sort of side face turns. move the centers back, then I can put that up, go find the other green orange piece, and this green orange is here. Now I've got to get that over onto this face. So what I would initially do is just probably turn that to there and see which way it needs to go. That needs to go there so that the orange green can line up like that. And again, I know this is a blue-red, but unless there is a blue-red sitting right here, which would actually work, there's one here and one here. When I turn the centers, that one obviously stays fixed. The other one has wandered off somewhere else. And so it was just more time than it was worth to be trying to set that up. I do have a blue-red here that potentially could go here, except that I cannot get it up into that position because the only thing that I can do is this turn, and either one of them is not going to put that over there. So I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just do something like that, return my centers. That has stored that first edge. Now I'm going to keep doing that until I come down to the last two. Now I've cut back in a little bit early here because I'm down to the last 5, but I've got the green white, which I want to bring towards this green white. When I do that, I notice here that there are no pieces that I can replace on either side. And so I've got to put some there first, and it doesn't really matter how I do it. I can't just move this yellow face. I've got an option of saying, well, I could potentially move one of these around to there or even possibly here. Let's have a look. No, it would have to be to this one or this one. So I'd have to move it around to there. And I can happily do that by just flipping it over, because it doesn't matter the orientation of this one. It's the secondary piece, or the third piece, I should say. And so now I've got those two together. That is in a position that I can use it to replace, put it back, and the green white. Then I've got to find the other white green piece, which in this case is already on here. But again, I got to check, because if I move it up, there's nothing over here for me, and there's also nothing over here. So this is the first real bit where it's not significantly harder, but you do have to set things up first. Now, if I look at this one, I say, where does that need to be? It needs to be on either of those. So I need to move it around to the orange blue. And again, I can just do this like that. Then I can turn that up. I've got this as my third piece I can use to replace. Okay, so that leaves us with 4 to go. I think there's 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm about to have 3 to go, which is good. So I'll just stay on the video for now. Green, yellow is what I need. I've got to get that green, yellow to match up with this. So I think that will work okay. Okay, that now puts it there. Check what's up here. There is a piece up here sitting waiting, so I can happily use that, replace it. I think we should be down to 3 now. 4 over there, 4 over there, 1. Yep, last 3. So let's keep going, and we'll keep going in the normal manner. I'm going to just make the next one. I'm not going to try and set all 3 up initially. I'm going to see whether we have to do something with the centers. So red, green to red, green. That means I need this as my third piece somewhere, probably, well, it's going to have to come down like that. So it's going to have to be probably on this red, yellow, I would say. So I'll use these 3 pieces to push that to the red, yellow. And then when that comes down, I have it available. Okay, and then the green-red pair gets turned back in. I locate the other green-red, which is here. So I really want to put that to that position there. I can't just turn it because it'll knock that out, but I can do a 1-1 commutator to get it there. So that's now ready to go there. Where is my third piece? Where is my third piece? Oh, it's right here. that just happens to be perfectly positioned, I'll take it for sure. Okay, so that leads us down to 2 pieces. And at this point, I want to see where I'm at. This setup is the one that I want because it looks bad, but I can now basically, if I turn it around so I can actually do it, I can push that out, flip this edge, and when I turn this back, everything will come in normally and solve these last 2. But here's the big problem. When we go to flip an edge, we need 3 faces around a corner. And so if I try, and whether you do F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime, or whether you do the method that I do, you're still going to have to turn this upper face. When you turn that upper face, you can only turn it like that for this particular configuration. So you're going to break whatever you're trying to deal with here. So this doesn't work quite so well. To demonstrate what I ended up working out how to do this, I'm going to use a 3x3 cube. But I just want to get to the point that what I need to do here is turn this up like that and flip this edge. Okay, so just let's keep that in mind. Let's bring the 3x3 in and let's have a look how I worked out how to do it. So on this one, I'm just going to concentrate on the white-green edge. That's the one that I will be interested in flipping, and I'm going to see how would I normally do it. Well, I'd just go down, down, up, up, and then to get that flipped into that position, I turn the position, put it on, undo, undo, and those are flipped. Okay, well, I can't do that this time because of the two-face on the white layer. So what I realized I would have to do, and so this is the one, or in fact, I won't even bother doing that. I'll look at this one here. I moved it with a front prime and then a left to put it down there. And then I turned the U face. Now you might be thinking, well, hang on, haven't you just done this exact same thing? I have, but you'll see on the Dodep why this is going to be okay. Because what I want to do now is get this piece into there. Now, before I do that, let's just have a look at the piece movement that I need here. So I had done one flip and I have to turn red, white to green, red. And if you like, white, green, whoops, white, green to red, white. So really white, green to red, white to green, red. Let's just keep that in mind as I do this setup over here. Now, you'll notice what I would really like is I can see that if I get the white, red into this position, it will actually work because I've got the green, white and the green, red, and I'll just demonstrate it. I can't just do that because it'll push it out. What I'm going to have to do on the Dodep is actually bring it up like that. Now I've got my 3 pieces. I haven't even done, all of this is set up. Now I need to do the other flip that I was trying to do. And that flip is here to here to here. In other words, down, down, up, up. Now that being taken care of, I got to undo all the setup moves. So the first one that I did was to put this here from here. In other words, I did an up, up, down, down. So to undo that, I want to do an up coming from this side. Up, down, down. Okay, then I got to undo that U-turn. Then I can undo this. I can undo that. And when you look at this, you will see that that hasn't been affected. The green, white and the red, white have been flipped. So that is the technique that I'm going to use on this Dodep. We're going to follow that through. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to firstly put that there. And this is the piece that I'm actually trying to flip. I don't care really about any other pieces. So what I'm going to do as an extra setup is put it here. So these are the 3 edges that are involved. I just really care about this one. I want to flip this one. So now I'm going to do what I did before. Firstly, down, down, up, up to do the first sequence. And now I'm going to follow that same set of setup moves. So it was a front prime and then a left. And then, this is the key all important move, Now, you will absolutely notice that it has done something to centers here, and if you lose your place, you might be in a bit of trouble. These are two of the pieces. This is the third one, and I need to get this third one up to here. Now I'm ready for the all-important move. Now, the key thing as to why that up face turn does not matter is, even though it's upset the centers now, the sequence that I'm about to do is not going to change any of the centers from where they are. So I'll carry this sequence out, and you'll notice none of those centers have been changed, which means when I undo all my setup moves, all those centers will come back. So again, undoing them, I've got to do this move first. I've then got to undo my up move, then my left move, and my front move. And you'll remember, to begin with, I actually had to move this piece up to the top from here. So I will finally undo that, and you'll notice that the centers are now looking much, much better. And I will return, and what we'll see is that that and that are both now fully reduced. So that is a pretty key move, and it's not the last time we're going to use it in this solve, because that is how I've come up with to flip edges where you don't have the ability really to just use 3 edges around a corner, which is, the standard method here. So those edges are now reduced. From here, I'm going to solve the reduced cube. And again, this is similar to the Mercury. However, I can't turn that yellow face. So I've kind of got it doesn't actually really matter which one I do first. I'm still going to do the white, because even though I'm able to turn the white face, I don't want to disrupt centers. So I might as well not be able to do that. So I've got the white green. I'll look for other whites. The problem that you're going to see pretty soon is that if we look at this orange white here, I think, oh, well, it goes there, but it's flipped. So how can I unflip it? What we would normally do be to turn it down here and move it across so it's underneath, but I cannot move that yellow face. And even if I was doing the white face to use it, yes, I could turn the white face, but it would then disrupt centers. So because of that, what I'm going to have to do is simply put it in place as a flipped turn. And I might just demonstrate. What if I was going to solve yellows first, and I had a yellow that needed to be flipped? So for example, this yellow orange, yes, that goes in there, but I've got to flip it. So I would bring it down to here, and I'd say, well, let's turn it across. And now what I could actually do is turn it up. Normally, I could turn it up with an edge piece series to put it in that position. The problem is, because I will certainly be able to turn centers back, the problem is I can't turn this yellow face to involve any of these edges. So how exactly do I do it? Well, let's try doing this. Okay, and you can see what's happened there is, yes, that is in place. When I turn that back, I've suddenly lost where these centers go, and all of these edges have now been broken. So I'm going to attempt to just undo what on earth I did. Okay, I think we're good now, and I think when I turn that back, you'll see all is well. That's why it doesn't matter which one I use. I have to treat both the white and yellow as immovable faces. Therefore, let's just put the white-orange into place. We'll notice the white-red looks like it should go correctly over to there. And the way we move it is just up, up, down, downs using these side faces. And then again, I can now 3-cycle those 3 pieces to put that in position. So some edges will be flipped and some will not. I'm just going to place them for now. You can see this white blue is flipped also. Turn it upside down. Instead of just getting 3 middle layer edges, I'm actually going to solve like this all the way around. I'm just going to pick an edge. So for example, this orange blue, I'm going to place it with a down, down, up, up. I'll move either direction. Let's move this way and get the yellow blue. See if we can place that into this position, just using side face turns. That happens to be correctly oriented. The next one, I'll do this middle one, which is the blue-red. You can see that is going to be flipped. The next one, this yellow-red, which is currently here, so I'll set up putting it there. That's also flipped. The next one will be this red-green, which is over here at the moment. I know that's in position, but I'm going to pretend it's not just to get the red-green in. And then I'll be left with a 3-cycle here of some kind. And the only way that I can really do it is this here. Okay, now you'll see that the edges are in, but some of them are flipped. So what do? I said earlier it wasn't the last time we were going to use that routine to flip edges, and that's what I need to do now. So these two next to each other need to flip. So I'm going to carry out the normal first sequence, and then I'm going to do my front prime left, up, and move this one into that position. Now that that's done, carry out the appropriate sequence on these 3 edges. So that's the key move there. Now undo all of my setup. And you will see that the white blue and the white orange have indeed been flipped in place. I'm going to have to all do this on the white face all the time because I can do that with the white face, but I can't turn the yellow at all. What have I got? I've got 4 left to flip. So let's say I move that one to there and that one to there. Okay, so I'll flip these 2 now. You can see all the centers coming back together. And I had to do that as well. Now, which one did I do? I must have been that, then that. Okay, so that's good. That'll just leave us 2 remaining. Now, these 2 are opposite, which is sort of kind of annoying. So what I might do here, what's the simplest way to get this done? I actually might even 3-cycle this, I think, up to the top, just to remember that I had a 3-cycle before. It should be pretty straightforward to see that when it's done. Okay, this one can just turn up like that. The last 2 to flip. Okay, let's undo that setup, and then my 3-cycle here must go like that. Alrighty, so all of the edges are now placed. Now, again, for the corners, it's similar to the Mercury, but it's different because I cannot move this yellow face. So I can't involve the white and the yellow face in my sequence, my corner piece series, and I also can't, I can actually use the white, I can move the white face to set up. I obviously can't move the yellow face. So for example, I would just see if I can place those corners. I can't do that, but I can turn it around to get that piece movement. However, then I've got a white and a yellow involved because it's my left and right faces which are involved. So what I would probably do here would be just to turn that face. So left, up and right all need to be these sort of middle layer faces, and then I should be able to cycle home that corner there. Or was it this one? Apparently it was this one here. Okay, that's done. So I'll continue working through these. Got this one again, the yellow, orange, green can roll. Now the yellow is on the top, so what I would probably do here would simply be to turn both of them up like that. Now I can move those pieces. Undo the setups. Let's see where we're at. There's nothing that obviously is going to roll. Let's see if something goes across a diagonal. It doesn't appear to be. What if I do that there? This is a little bit trickier. I've got 1, 2, 3 that I can use here. I can also technically, and I might do this just to demonstrate that I can use the white face and turn both those layers as a setup, as long as I'm not using it in the actual corner piece series. Now, let's have a look. I would now probably do this and say that's got to roll down to there. That's fine. That, and that are my 3 pieces. I'll carry this out. Okay, that's done. That piece is in. I did have a setup like that, was it? No. Which setup was it? Ah, yeah, so it was that. And you can see that using that turn has not affected any of the center parts. So that's perfectly okay to do. Looking for something else. I've got this white, orange, blue that I could try. That's pretty good. I've got a third piece here as well. Again, I've got the white and yellow on the right and left. So I don't want that. So I will turn first. And away we go. Okay, so undo that turn. Undo those 2. Where are we at? Okay, we've now got 2 that need to twist. 2 corners that need to twist. This is the last thing that was slightly different from the normal Mercury solve. The Mercury solve, I could happily have 2 corners that needed to twist, and I didn't have this yellow face blocked, so I could do it all up here. I could say that will turn, that will turn, that will turn, no problem, using that yellow face. Well, that won't move, and I discovered that if I try to twist them in my normal fashion and use this, it does actually affect things that are going on in here. So I definitely don't want that. So what I want to do instead is do a soon and a soon mirror. So I just need these pieces on a side face. This is the one that's got to turn anti-clockwise. So normally that's the position that I would have them. Now, because I can't turn that white face, what I'm going to do is just set up like that. And now I've got the pieces in the correct position and I can turn the up face and the right face, no problem. So I carry out a soon. And then carry out a soon mirror. And I'll finish it, and then I had that set up. But you can see that this puzzle is now solved. See you on the next video.